All right, folks, how you doing? It is Wednesday evening. I just got back from boxing. Did good tonight. I was happy with my performance. I went 6 rounds. I think a little bit higher level opponents, and I did good. I was very happy with my performance. Anyway. Let's talk about what's going on. All right, so yesterday, if you watched my video, I said I thought that today was going to be a down day. Now, folks, you know that over the last few weeks, I've been trying to explain to you this kind of condition we are in right now where because of the debt ceiling, which is kind of constraining Treasury's ability to issue, bonds and notes, which, of course, the sale of government securities, as I always tell you guys, that's just a reserve drain, okay? That's not borrowing. The dollars have to be in the system before the Treasury can sell any securities, okay? So the spending comes first, and then the sale of bonds and notes and bills comes after that. It's not the other way around. It's not borrowing. It can't. Just by point of logic, it can't. The dollars have to be in the system because you could only buy treasuries with dollars, all right? So I've been explaining, and I use the analogy of the bilge pump. Like now, because of the debt ceiling situation, and Treasury is kind of, inhibited a little bit or constrained, better word, in its ability to drain those reserves, and government spending being so high, right? It's just normal that reserves are piling up in the system, in the banking system. So I use the bilge pump analogy. You got a boat, and the boat's cruising along, and all of a sudden a giant wave crashes on the boat, and the boat takes on a lot of water. That would be like a big payments day, like a first of the month payments day that Treasury, puts out like 120 billion, or it could even be like today was a Social Security day. So that's the equivalent of like a big wave hits the boat and the boat takes on a lot of water. And normally the boat has a bilge pump that evacuates the water. It pumps out the water. And that bilge pump, that's what Treasury sales are. It drains out those excess reserves, which the banking system does not need because all those excess reserves, they have to be capitalized, okay, according to the rules. So what I was saying, the reason why I was bearish today was because normally a day that had a Social Security payment like today, where you're going to see like flows, the flows would be 45, 50 billion leading flows on a Social Security day. Normally that's bullish because the system receives, a big amount of transfers of dollars. So, people's accounts are flush. They use it in the market, right? Some of it anyway. But now, because the system is so loaded up with reserves that when you get a Social Security day, or when you get, let's say, a first of the month payments day, that's the big wave crashing into the boat. And it's going to take, 24 or 48 hours to digest that because the bilge pump is not working very well. It's not completely shut off, but it's not working at its best capacity, all right? So I thought today was going to be bearish, and it was bearish. We went down. And I think tomorrow is going to be bullish. Now, I understand after the close, Trump said he's going to put 25% tariffs on autos. That's a hefty tariff. And the market right now, I just checked, is down a little bit. Not that much. It's down a little bit in futures. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But notwithstanding Trump's announcement, I think that tomorrow, based on these technical things I'm talking about, and when I say technical, I'm not talking about lines on charts. I'm talking about these flows, these ebbs and flows, okay? I think by tomorrow, the market had 24 hours, maybe more, to digest what happened today. So the interesting thing here now is that whereas before, when the debt ceiling was not a problem, when we weren't held back by the debt ceiling, when Treasury wasn't held back by the debt ceiling, you had these transfers, these big transfer days like Social Security and first of the month payments. Those were bullish, okay? And the tax drains, like April 15th, and then the quarterly corporate tax drains, all of those that I always tell you about, those used to be bearish, right? Because that sucked out the balances from the non-government, from us, from our accounts, right? Now, it's the reverse, right? Because of the situation of the debt ceiling, tax drains are actually like a short-term positive because it's alleviate. Tax drains are like functioning like the bilge pump now, okay? At least for a day or two. And the transfers, the good transfers like Social Security payments, quarterly interest payments, first of the month payments, that's bad now because that is the big wave crashing into the boat with the bilge pump not operating. So it's a weird condition right now. I don't think it's going to last forever because I think they're eventually going to raise the debt ceiling. But let me make a comment on this debt ceiling because I saw a lot of stuff today, reports that there's a whole contingent of Republican senators who are against raising the debt ceiling unless this reconciliation bill that they're trying to pass in Congress now, unless they have massive spending cuts, and by massive, they're saying $2 trillion. In fact, Rick Scott of Florida here, he's my senator. I live in Florida now. He said he wants to balance the budget. I mean, these guys are still living in their minds in the gold standard days, all right? You balance the budget, you're basically talking about, you can't really, but right now, if tax receipts, tax deposits are like, 4.8 trillion? And, maybe more than that because we got 7 trillion of spending, we got 1.5 trillion of a deficit, so that's 5.5 trillion? So you would have to remove another 1.5 trillion, and that's not going to balance the budget because when you remove 1.5 trillion of spending from where we are now, then what happens to the economy? The economy crashes, the tax revenues go down, the deficit stays where it is or maybe even increases because you got the automatic stabilizers that are going to kick in when the economy goes down crashing. Stuff like unemployment benefits, Medicaid, food stamps, all these things, right? So I don't know, these guys, they got their head in the clouds. They're just saying shit that, it's like these nonsensical, things that people say without really understanding the mechanics behind it, the actual, the monetary system and how it functions. They're living in a world of the past. And so is this stupid freaking debt ceiling. This is another thing that dates back to the days of the gold standard. It's an anachronism. Got to get rid of this shit. It's really fucked up. It's messing everything up. It's totally messing everything up. But because I've explained this to you, hopefully you understand it. This is a great little trading situation. If you trade these zero data expiration options, you could play these things. Today's down move, tomorrow's up move. First of the month, going to be the down move. April 15th, which is usually the down move, gonna be the up move, right? I mean, right now, it's a game you can play where you know it's kind of like you're in Vegas and you know what the cards are gonna be. Everybody else doesn't. I just told you that. Right now, you know, the stuff I told you right there, that's worth 5 years subscription to my report. So go there and sign up right now. I shouldn't even be telling you guys this stuff. You know? Go there and sign up right now. I just gave you, you can make on the next freaking, on what? April 1st, but I think that, I don't know if that's a weekday or what, whatever. You make 5 years worth of subscription right there. So go sign up. You owe that to me. All right, anyway, that's it for today. It's a little late. I got to eat dinner. I came back from boxing. Feel good, man, when it goes good. Listen, when I go, I don't want to go. I don't look forward to it. It's not like, yeah, I can't wait to get to boxing because I know I'm going to get punched in the face and whatever. But once I get out of there, I feel great. I feel great. You got to do things that you don't want to do. I think in life, it's very important. You got to do things that you don't like to do. That builds discipline. It builds resilience. It builds fortitude. It builds character. It builds strength. Do things that you don't like to do. I always tell my kids, like, if you got to make a decision, pick the thing that's the hardest and do that. Because even if it doesn't pan out, I mean, just going through that process, first of all, mentally committing to something, okay, I'm going to do the harder thing. And then going through the process, that's growth, man. That's growth. Very important. Please like and subscribe. Go sign up. I just gave you information that you could make 5 years worth of my subscription. So, you know, go do it. Pitbulleconomics.com. Bye.